There we are. Hello, my friends. We are live, aren't we? My name is Jason, and of course, I go by ESTEY'S Crime Maze. Great to see all of you. You look absolutely marvelous, beautiful. And sincerely, everyone, I want to extend again my deep, sincere gratitude and appreciation for all of you that have actually subscribed to my channel. Those of you that have actually smashed that like button that Ellie loves to put in the edit. And I need your help continually smashing it, people, especially new to the channel, because apparently somebody said that, you know, it's gone down less, the thumbs up or something. It's complicated. But anyway, if you enjoy my videos, again, I hope you'll subscribe. Give me the thumbs up, please, folks. It helps with the algorithms. That's the point, right? Hit the bell icon to be notified for future videos. And again, feel free to leave me a comment. That also helps. And share these videos. And what content am I talking about? Or what content am I about to talk about today? The IDAHO4 again, my friends, for all you IDAHO4 true crime junkies. And again, I got a special guest. I'm doing an interview again very soon with ELLE Sophia Rossetti at Ellie's Place, okay? But I'm ESTEY'S Crime Maze, my friends. We're going to get into the IDAHO4, and we're going to talk about the discrepancies. We're going to talk about the non-evidence and the shite evidence that, corporate media is trying to put out. Ellie knows even more of that in some cases than I do. The shot evidence, new story that's being put out as part of the PSYOP, we believe, of the IDAHO4. And I've defined to you extensively, gone over psychological operation PSYOP. So without further ado, we're going to introduce Ellie right now, my friends. Take a deep breath. I hope you join us. It'll be another epic live. I truly believe that. Here we go. Hello.
How you doing today?
Hi, Ellie. I'm doing excellent. Again, outstanding, trying to work on spectacular and hoping that we're going to get one step closer today in discussing and showing the shoddy evidence that you know full well and we're discovering all the time as things are being released. And the rumors, the story is largely part of this whole IDAHO4 PSYOP that we believe. And we can get into Brian Kohberger later, etc. And now I'll let you tell us what is on your mind today to discuss, Ellie, after all, for our massive audience out there. And hopefully they're going to continue to support and follow us. And we want guests on this show to challenge respectfully and have a great time. If they have the courage to just come on, let's do it. Anyway, let's go.
Okay. Well, I want I want to go over the evidence because what the evidence they're giving is it's not adequate to what the crime. Okay, that doesn't match. Okay, they got evidence that they've left out, conveniently left out, so that everybody would center in on Brian Kohberger. Okay, who we now find out may have only driven them there. Now, yes, if he knew what was going to happen, he would still be guilty as a participant. But it's all changed now, and people just accept it, moved on, and now they're pointing the fingers in more ways. According to crumbs given by these corrupt courts and whoever's behind this whole PSYOP, but the evidence doesn't match anything that they're saying, okay? New evidence pops up, all these new DNAs under Madison Mogan's fingernails, the handprint on the stairway, all this crap that they refuse to get identified. They don't have any DNA on this. Like, does anyone...
It's made up.
Just find
to me, it's made up, but yeah.
And it's fictitious that you're being jerked off with some of this evidence. I mean, if you look at the camera evidence they just released, I mean, come on, folks. 7-Eleven has better cameras than that. They go over their film like daily, right? It should be like a blurry mess, but theirs are still clear. And this one, just, I'm sorry. No, it's not even adequate because it doesn't show who. It doesn't really show how many. It just shows who was tall enough to be on camera. What if there was a couple of, smaller people, the shorter people, who didn't make the camera?
That's right.
So we don't know. Also, it's blurry as hell. How could you make out where it is, let alone who it is passing in front of it? It's foolishness, and it's just meant to feed into this sentiment that there was one person who did all this. He pled guilty. He must have did it. No. He pled guilty because some of his surprise witnesses got murdered. They got axed. They got iced. And now recently, the DoorDash driver was thrown off a bridge in Coeur d'Alene. Right there where the Aryan area is, right? So a school teacher, and I believe her daughter were murdered. There was a woman who, another one, a school teacher, I believe, she was kidnapped and murdered. Another guy killed his family. I think that was an Aryan dude, but killed 4 of his kids.
Oh my God.
So a lot of shit going on. Now, a priest was shot at the at the it's a recovery center for addiction. Actually, Xana's mother was in there, and so are a bunch of Aryan people. So Xana's mother gets out. This guy gets shot in the back 5 times with hollow points, and he lived. There's a God. I'm telling you, the man lived through 5 hollow points. Okay,
unreal.
And so it's just everything seems to center around this Canoodle person. And then now her daughter happens to be in the center of the IDAHO4 murders. So I'm thinking, was this a team? And that's why there was anger against them, why they would have to go into Wixet or whatever. If you want to believe what you think happened, whatever. I'm just saying, this would be a reason why, and serious enough reason, to put people into Wixet.
Yeah, perfect. Well said. Glad you brought that up like that. Yes.
Also, there's a lot of evidence, Jason, that's just not jiving. And I wanted to kind of attack the evidence. I don't want to attack any creators, because any creators on here are just doing what they think is best. And I believe that with my heart. There doesn't seem to be a whole handful of grifters like there was in the COVID era, right? Like we had back then. But no, I think these people sincerely believe what they think they believe. But we need to get them to look at the evidence that they've been believing in a different light. And they won't do it on their own, so I think we need to do it for them, piece by piece. If we have to do it over 3 or 4 streams, we'll tax so much per stream, and get people to at least look at it. Look at the common sense, look at the corruption around it, and then tell me what you think of that same evidence after we expose the idiocies about it, idiosyncrasies and the corrupt particles that surround it. And we got to admit, the whole Idaho 4 case was bungled from the beginning, on purpose. But it was bungled. Now, you're telling me they're doing all this for a couple of simple murders? Like some guy who walked in and murdered 4 people. All this just for this one guy? No.
No, of course not.
There's a lot surrounding this. There's other creators who are verifying that, yes, Aryans are involved. The entire law enforcement around that area are terrified of these guys. They're apparently really bad people. And I don't personally believe it's because the white power thing. I think it's just they're bad people because they've gotten away with so much. They kind of push the bar, and they'll push the bar. They're like anybody. Any criminal will do the same thing if you let them go along in it, right? So,
sure. But I want to add a qualifier, Ellie. Just a sec. Very important to interrupt, please. That, as I said on some videos, just to let those types of people, the ones that can be rehabilitated, understand, and we understand, whether it be gangbangers, cartel organizations, some of them have proven that they can be rehabilitated. I just want to put that out there, right?
Yeah.
That's all. I just wanted to make sure that I had that qualifier. Thank you. I know you know that, but
the ones that are involved.
But there are some very evil people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you can't. It's because of a person's a certain nationality, it doesn't mean they're going to do a certain type of crime. That's stereotype.
Exactly.
So
I just wanted to let the audience know where I'm coming from. I know you're already there.
I mean, personally, there's some good people that just believe some bad things because they've been kind of fished in, whatever. But look,
that's right.
I would never say that about a group, but I'm just saying the ones involved in this are very violent.
Thank you. Yes,
the police, prosecutors, all those local state. I don't know about federal, but the local state ones are afraid of them. Okay, because these are bad men. And there's other creators who talk about how bad they are. So you can watch videos about the area, and they're I mean, some of them are just family dudes who believe what they believe, and they don't run around doing any problems. But
exactly, a lot of it could be exaggerated too.
In the drugs and the prostitution and the murders and all this other stuff, those are the ones who public are fearing. Even journalists are being threatened and stuff. So, and yeah, I found out the other day when I had said Webb's, I tried to comment on his video and it wouldn't let me. It was actually X that wouldn't let me. X was saying,
"Oh my God,
you buy an X membership to contact this guy," but I thought it was him. So here I'm fucking pissed at him. I still think he's what he is, but I mean, yeah, it wasn't him specifically. But now I watched a video that very day, and he said, "Well, we got to go to subscription only because I'm being threatened." Oh, I wonder why you're being threatened, dude. But so yeah, no, he is going to be now grifting officially. But so, like I said, it wasn't him that had stopped me from. It wasn't because of any subscription.
We understand.
It was X. Stupid Elon.
Yep,
anyway,
we understand.
I want to clarify that.
Yes.
Anyone
Thank you for that. Yes.
not confused. Well, because if they go there and check, they're going to say, well, no, I can comment. Maybe Ellie's blocked. No, I'm not blocked. I'm not a stalker like Jason. I'm not going to offer to box the guy and go in an MMA ring with him or nothing like that. Just, hey, look, dude, you want to come on my show? Go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit. It's not my show anyway. It's his show. But anyway, we wanted to go over some of the evidence. There's some new evidence that I wanted to read off.
Before you do, Ellie.
Yeah.
Before you read off, we're looking forward to what you have to say on that. I want to read a comment, and hopefully it's appropriate. I'll let me know, Ellie, and the rest of our audience with their comments, okay? I thought it was interesting. Rachel Michelle Harlow it was an IDAHO4 Facebook group, but this is for you YouTubers. To all the pro-burgers, hate to bust your bubble, but for those of you sorry, I'm trying to read my own handwriting, it's awful, but for those of you thinking that Ann Taylor is playing chess and has made a calculated strategic decision to ask for a plea agreement, Ann Taylor has absolutely nothing up her sleeve except for make-believing the biggest joke as the guy who she just allowed to agree to spend 4 life sentences sitting in prison. She thinks sitting in prison. We say Brian Kohlberger's not sitting in prison, but anyway, he's in a hotel with realistically less than 2% chance of ever successfully appealing this plea. Even on the extremely slim chance he were to be successful of appealing the charges, wouldn't be dismissed. He wouldn't be getting out of jail. On the contrary, all that would happen would be that Brian would be going to jail, at which time the state could re-seek the death penalty because the plea agreement has been vacated and is right back to where he started, except with even bigger odds that he now goes against, there would be a go-around, he would be going to trial. He has no chance to remove the death penalty because they would never offer him another plea again. He'd also have to deal with all the prejudicial, I can't even pronounce it. You could tell I'm not a paralegal, folks. Prejudicial practices publicly now that his guilty plea has literally been plastered around the entire world, and his own words can be used against him if any future trial. There is literally no winning strategy in going this route, none. And then finally, I wouldn't hold your breath waiting for a plot twist. An automatic appeal will likely be failed, but Brian actually would be have better odds of going to trial and being acquitted than he does at being successful at any type of post-conviction appeal. I agree with that, especially after pleading guilty. After Brian is sentenced, Ann Taylor would be moving right along with trying to plead out her other clients, Skylar Meade, right, where she would claim his constitutional rights have also been violated and file many of the same history lessons and motions as she did in this case. Thank you for listening. Now your turn, Ellie.
Wow. Okay, I'll see if
Lot there, right?
I have to get this.
Well, Ellie is searching for
this
that.
Is merely speculation.
Oh, you found it? Okay,
cool. Okay, I got it. Yeah. So the defense witness subpoenas were served for trial June 26th. The sheriff return of sealed service on court docket June 27th. Coeur d'Alene sniper event June 29th. Jury selection canceled and plea announced July 1st. So if you think about it, that itself, that chain of events is kind of telling if it turns out that what they're thinking is accurate. Now it depends. The funny thing is they're finding out through data from cars and probably store cams, maybe the cams from the street lights, like the government ones, the cop ones, and satellite imaging, anything like that. Any kind of data they can get to track vehicles,
it's endless, sure,
phones, or devices of any sort.
That's right.
Right? So once they find out whether or not this DoorDash driver was the one who did the delivery that night, I can't see them just throwing any old DoorDash driver off the bridge. And if they owe the money, they won't get the money that way. So, no, they don't do that unless they want you gone. And I don't personally think that was the Aryan Brotherhood who did that. I don't think he'd find the guy if the Aryan Brotherhood dealt with him. No, I think that was done so he would be found. I can tell you who I think did it, but you call me a conspiracy theorist. Okay, it was the government. I seriously believe they're getting rid of anything that could step in the way of this guy going to prison. Because whether he did it or not, he's the one who's elected to go through, plead guilty,
yes,
wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and be gone. That way they can close this down. This is kind of like a mess on aisle 3, and they need to mop it up quick. And that's what they're doing. That's why the judge released this fake evidence. And I'm calling it fake evidence because none of it's credible. Like, what has it proved? The cameras have proved nothing. The knowledge of more DNA under people's fingernails that has not been analyzed, we don't have any DNA profiles. They actually do. But they're not going to tell us because that would interfere with Brian Kohlberger going through this motion to close this fucking case.
That's right.
I'm telling you, man, like they're putting out bullshit, and it's not jiving with him going in and doing it. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
Gotcha. I agree, Ellie. But also, just a qualifier with our theory again, that if we believe, which we do, that if Maddie is protected under WITSEC with the other 3, then the DNA story, again, story's an important part of a PSYOP operation, as we've discussed. I discussed in my videos that the DNA under Maddie's fingernails is just another story, folks, in my opinion. And I think Ellie may or may not agree with that, but I think she's with me that they're putting that out there. But to Ellie's point, what she's trying to get at is they want to put a story out to make sure, though, that Brian is put in jail, that he's the one. He's pleaded guilty. Put that PSYOP in front of you. Affect your attitudes, your behaviors. Pardon?
He's the fall guy.
He's the fall guy, exactly. And he's willing. He's a willing participant. The tan, Ellie. I got to bring this up before I forget. The tan. Somebody said, Ellie, and do you agree, that he's in, again, it would be speculation, but it would make sense that they said, they probably watched my videos. I've always said that I believe that all 4 so-called victims are actually in Puerto Rico. Why? Because the United States has a WITSEC program in places like, Puerto Rico. Not just in the United States. We got one in Labrador in Canada. Was Brian Kohlberger, to Ellie's point, is he in a hotel and on the beach somewhere at times in Puerto Rico? He's got a tan, as Ellie. Can you tell us, the audience, Ellie, what you said in pre-trial hearings? That there's no way they could be outside on the yard long enough to get a tan. Did you say it like that, or am I butchering?
You're in a thing called a holding facility, and they're basically where you're held locally, where your trial or your sentencing happens. Then you get shipped out to the institution where you might have more yard time. But when you're in pre-trial, they don't give you any freedoms at all. You're lucky to see half an hour on the roof in the yard Okay, and it has to be sunny and hot every day, and he'd have to be out there for hours to get that kind of tan, and it just you can't do it.
That sure looked good. It looked good on this so-called killer, this tan that he had, and the nice haircut, the whole bit.
So no, the fact that he's still in a holding facility until sentencing, there's no way he could get a tan, unless that does not look like a tanning bed tan. I know the difference. No. This is
they don't have tanning beds in jail anyway.
Well, they might, but the point is,
no, they don't. I've been to jail. I know what the jails are like. They don't have tanning beds. But anyway,
I'm just musing. But even if they did,
I'm sorry. Okay, gotcha.
He wouldn't be able to use it. He hasn't been sentenced yet. People that have been sentenced get nothing. Okay, they get told how to eat, how to sleep, how many pieces of toilet paper to use to wipe their ass with, until they get to where they're going. Then they can make their own damn decision.
Thank you for that. I'm amazed that Nancy Grace, and Ashley Banfield, they do not tell you that, wait a sec, here's the visual. Look at Brian Kohlberger. Oh my God, he's tan. He's got this haircut. He's buzzed on the sides. How did he get the tan? But of course, they don't ask that question. But
that would go against their narrative. They wouldn't do that. They're paid whores. They're paid sensationalist whores. That's all they are. The propaganda whores. And anyone who watches them must watch them for entertainment value, because I couldn't see them literally watching them for any credibility. I mean, I used to laugh at Nancy Grace way back. I mean, you could see she was sensationalizing other people's trauma and making money off it. That pissed me off.
That's disgusting. Me too. It's disgusting.
Geraldo used to do the same shit. I don't like that. Now Banfield's another Klingon, right? On the green.
Steve G.
And Steve G, yeah. Well, he's just a whore, period. He just wants money. He's a money whore.
Well, if I may, real quick, this is my show. I'm going to say yes, and hopefully ELLE, this won't piss her off. This is on Steve G. This is a comment by Pamela, okay? This is not I'm not saying these are my exact thoughts. This is from Pamela. By the way, but I would agree with some of this. By the way, hex really means spell or witch. Don't know why that name chosen. Don't know whether you heard, but it was said, not confirmed. Okay, I repeat, my friends, no defamation I want at me here. Not confirmed that SG lost a cartel a whole lot of their money through investing in this scam. I think he still has been wearing the hex cap since the outcome and has been a wanted man in Europe, and hex collapsed. SG brother Nathan, here's a fact, I guess, in prison for manslaughter of another drug bloke. I think AF member, Aryan family member, do you remember that YouTube video I sent you, and I don't remember the video she sent me, a girl saying about these caps as he is trying to tell something. Is he trying to tell us something? Meaning the caps, the hats, right?
I have that video.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Finally, have a think about it all. Ask ELLE. I mean, this is in the context with the story that's trying to say who they were being targeted by. ELLE's nodding. But at the same time, they have him saying, BK, is that because law enforcement, ELLE, she put, got things on him, like I said. Do you remember the SG family, ELLE, suddenly changed sides to BK partly way through the investigation? I remember. Hope you understand all this, she says, laugh out loud. Pamela, thank you so much for that amazing comment. And now hopefully the audience and myself, we're going to hear ELLE's take on your, I think, very, very interesting and quite brilliant comment and insights there on Steve G.
Yeah, I watched that video. I'm going to include it in the stream.
Oh, great. Okay, I can't wait to watch that.
Hex is a crypto company, right?
Crypto. Thank you.
It was made by his brother or something like that. And yeah, it failed. There was a lot of money that was lost or stolen by the guy who ran off with it. I guess. I can't remember verbatim the whole video, but I'm going to put it in. it's interesting to look.
Right.
Was he trying to warn us to look deeper into hex? Because there was an involvement with this case involving hex. I'm pretty sure.
Well,
Hi, friends. I have something amazing to share with you that the Lord led me to about the IDAHO4 case. Has Steve Goncalves been giving us clues the entire time? Now, I'm going to show you something that I don't believe has ever been speculated or shared publicly in this case. Now, I think this could be a major piece of the puzzle that could change the way we view everything. We've followed scattered clues, recurring names, and unexplained silences. But until now, no one has connected the dots between the Schuler, Funk, and Cole families. That's right. And no one has talked about the strange clue Steve Goncalves himself may have left us. How could the hex cryptocurrency hat that Steve Goncalves wore in multiple interviews lead to information? Now, my question is, was this hat a message? A breadcrumb? An invitation to look deeper? Let's dig in, guys. This is good. Steve Goncalves, Kaylee's father, has been one of the most vocal family members seeking justice for the victims. He also did a lot of his own investigating. But there's something easy to overlook in several interviews, that Steve wore a hex cryptocurrency hat. Now, at first glance, this may be nothing, but hex isn't just any crypto. It was founded by a man named Richard Schuler, who goes by the name Richard Hart. Now, this caught my attention because the Schuler name has come up before in my research, though I hadn't been able to solidify anything until just now. If Steve Goncalves is willing to wear this hat repeatedly, could it have been a subtle way to say, look into the Schuler name, look into hex, there is more here? Now let's connect this to the family ties I've just uncovered. Now, thanks to deep digging in public records, I found the obituary of a lady named Eileen Clara Carr. And here's what it reveals, and this is huge. Erna and Walt Schuler is listed as Carr's sister. Among the nieces and nephews is listed Linda and Ken Funk and Ann and Larry Cole Schuler. Now, this isn't a theory. This is published in black and white. The Schuler family appears connected by blood to both the Funk family and the Cole family. And why is that important? Because in the IDAHO4 case, Bethany Funk was one of the surviving roommates. And I've previously speculated that Megan Cole, who's so significant in the Kiely Rodni case, may be related to Bethany Funk. Though that connection still isn't publicly, I still haven't publicly confirmed that. But here we have a real documented proof that Schuler, Funk, and the Cole families are intertwined. And the hex hat? Hex was founded by Richard Schuler. That can't be ignored. If Steve Goncalves knows about these family connections, and it's hard for me to believe that he doesn't, maybe the hat was his way of sending a message. Sending a message to the public without violating any legal or safety boundaries. Maybe the hat was his way of sending a message for us to look deeper. Maybe Steve is saying, look into Schuler. Look into hex. Look at who's connected behind the scenes. And the more you sit with that possibility, the more the silence of the certain people in this case starts to make sense. Why are some names and individuals barely mentioned, barely questioned? Why are there survivors who claim to have heard almost nothing that night? If family ties and allegiances are deeper than we've realized, that silence starts to look less coincidental and a lot more like protection. And then there's the shadow of Dwight McCarthy, an extremist figure with a dark past. Now, I've speculated that Megan Cole, whose father's name is Dwight McCarthy, I speculate that Dwight may be the same Dwight McCarthy who is the white separatist with very extremist views. But while that remains unconfirmed, it fits into a broader picture, a picture of potential networks, old loyalties, and maybe even ideologies that quietly link certain families across seemingly unrelated cases. We've seen the same surnames, the same types of silence, the same protective barriers, not just in IDAHO4, but in other cases like Kylie Rodney, that just don't make sense. Could it all trace back to these family lines? Could Steve have been pointing us here all along, starting with the hex hat? Now, I want to be transparent. We still don't have direct proof that this specific Schuler is related to Bethany Funk's, directly. But from this obituary, there are the individuals, it seems to be the same family names that are involved in the IDAHO4 case. I'm going to keep digging. But what we have now is more than we had before. Concrete documentation that these families are connected. And that's a game changer, guys. The question is this just an interesting coincidence? Or the foundation of a hidden network that could explain some of the most perplexing mysteries in the IDAHO4 story? So now I turn to you guys. Is the hex hat just a hat? Or was Steve Gonsalves sending us all a silent signal, hoping someone would pay attention? Because the truth is still out there, guys, and I know with all my heart the Lord is going to lead me to it. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.
Question right away, Ellie, excuse me, is why would you wear a hex hat if it was a failed crypto scam?
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
He's trying to get us to investigate what that hat said. That's what they were implying in the video. It was a warning to us to look deeper into hex, right? That's why he consistently wore that hat all the time. He had already lost his money. But he couldn't do the damage that we can do if we look into it and find out more about it, which we did.
Totally makes sense.
I didn't.
Yes.
These people who made the video did. I will give them credit. I didn't even think or care what was written on his friggin' hat. But so that's what they're saying. I'll put the video in, and it's a very interesting look at this whole scam, but it's also deeper involved with this content than we know. So
yes,
yeah, Steve G, he's
follow the money, baby. Follow the money. Whether it be the Aryan Knights, the Aryan family, the drug investigations, follow the money, and let's protect children in the United States, all around the world, and young adolescents. Again, go in these universities where the drugs and some cartel organizations and gangbangers are, apparently storing drugs within the infrastructure universities at times, in the dorms, right? Selling product, using university students as informants. It's a whole incestuous pool, folks, and to the Fed's credit, they do these investigations. Sometimes I'm sure there's RICO, they're getting paid, making money on the sides, but they're also at times risking their lives, folks. Hello. If Ellie and I's theory is correct, and I think it absolutely is, that there was an extraction removal stage operation that took place in the cover of darkness, November 13th, 2022. Hello. These are not easy operations necessarily to do, folks. I've never done one, but you can be rest assured. This is, an example of the Feds putting their lives at times under fire, and they knew these students were targeted one way or another by probably gangbangers, yes. But it doesn't mean, and there's no evidence to show that it then got carried out. That's what I always say about this case, You okay? Oh, shit. Ellie's froze on me, folks. Can you hear do you see Ellie, folks? She's frozen. Oh, my. What is going on? Have we touched a cord? Oh, my goodness. Can you hear me, audience out there? I hope so. Well, I'll just continue to talk, folks, while she's frozen. Maybe some three-letter agency or something is stopping Ellie and interfering with her live. Whoa. Now Ellie's completely gone, folks. Don't worry, she'll be back. I'm sure she's just got to figure maybe a technological problem out there, tech problem. But seriously, folks, as I've always said, you know, when you really look at the evidence, there's more circumstantial evidence, starting with that stage crime scene, that it had to be an extraction stage removal operation, folks, for the very fact that it was a staged crime scene. And what do I mean by that? Well, I've listed it many times. Some people have listed a couple of the discrepancies, but one of them is, and many people have admitted to it, folks, as I've said a million times, some of the crime scene investigators, at times we know they didn't wear proper PPE gear. If there's 4 unalivings, hello, BLOOD, they would always have to make sure, of course, that they're wearing the masks, the slippers. At times they didn't wear some. They were carrying germs in and out. U.S. Marshals weren't wearing masks at times. And then you got, there's Ellie. And then you got, of course, American Relocation Services on the boxes. Ellie's back, folks, so I'm going to shut up for a moment. We're going to find out where she was, where did she disappear to, how did she come back, and what does she want to talk about next with me and you guys and gals, amazing audience out there. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, your turn.
I can't tell you. I'd have to kill you. No. Yeah, I was kidnapped by aliens. They beamed me up to the ship. I said, look, I'm in the middle of a live stream. Bleep, 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 bleep.
Great.
And they beat me back down, so I got back on.
Good, thank you.
No, the stream there had screwed up, I guess. But I got kicked right out. I had to wait to come back in. I think there was a switching.
This is a wild stream, folks. Go ahead, yeah. Ellie.
So
talk about the IDAHO4. What do you want to say?
Well, the problems with the IDAHO4 start with the evidence and worked into the whole court case. The whole shock plea, which just seemed very uniform and acted out to me.
Totally agree.
A lot of this is being done to shut us down. We're getting too close, and I think they're blaming a lot of this shit on the Aryans. That isn't the Aryans; it's the 3-letter agencies that are doing it. And
you might be right, Ellie.
I truthfully, right. I tell you right now, the Aryans, the way they work, you won't find out until you find the body, and then you'd have to prove it was them. They don't just leave a trail of crumbs to find them. They're not stupid people. How do you think they're still around and operating such a large operation? Exactly, yes. Because they're very experienced. And they know what they're doing, and
sure,
it's why I think they might have this canoodle lady on the fucking payroll as well as the cops having payroll, because it just seems like people are dying a lot, and it's not just people associated with this case, like a lot of people just died in Chatelaine recently. I think I got like 11 or 12 people.
Has corporate media, Ellie, have they commented on some of these unalivings that have taken place recently? I haven't checked.
The fireman and the cop, yeah.
But not the treatment center.
No, I haven't heard the CNN or any of those talking about it. I don't watch those people, but I haven't seen any of their videos talking about it. And I'll go to wherever I am, and I'll type in IDAHO4 and all the stuff comes up. But no, it was never. Not
even Donald Trump's post, Ellie, mentioned it. Can I just want to read that off quickly. Yeah. This is the last article, if I may. Thank you. It was because Donald Trump's important, man. He's got whether you like him or not, his Truth Social. There's a lot of people that read and absorb his information, right? So here it is. Folks, make up your mind. Is any of this true? Well, let's find out. Donald Trump, Truth Serial Post. Social post. Brian Kohlberger, who was responsible in Idaho for the deaths of 4 wonderful young, God, I can't even read my own writing. It must be students, has made a plea bargain deal in order to avoid the death penalty. Well, that's true, right? There were victims and murders with so many questions left unanswered. Well, that's true. If you believe the unalivings took place, still a lot of unanswered questions, right? Either way. While life imprisonment is tough, it's certainly better than receiving the death penalty. Is it? I have questions about that. But before sentencing, I hope the judge makes Kohlberger, at a minimum, explain why he did what he did, or why he did the murders. And then there's no explanation. There is no nothing. Okay? People were shocked that he was able to plea bargain. Well, that's true. But the judge should make him explain. I agree with this last part. The judge should make him explain what happened. Thank you for your attention on this matter. My bet is that no, we will not. I'd be shocked if we did hear Brian Kohlberger. Would they take a chance with this slick? Brian Kohlberger is very slick, though, as an informant. Ellie said she thinks he's an informant. I do too. But would they take a chance with Brian Kohlberger articulating in any way what he possibly did? I don't think so, but we'll see.
So
Should be
there was
fascinating.
something in the agreement that he could plead without having to talk about it. Not the Alfred plea, but it's like the Alfred plea kind of joined with his plea.
Oh.
His plea is basically he knows they have enough evidence to convict him, which I guess they do on that knife sheath, but that's the only evidence in the whole fucking place. So
no, they got it, but they got a DNA expert that would destroy the skin cells on the knife sheath and how it got there, and even if it's Brian's, they can they've already proven basically that it could be almost anybody's skin cells, and it's probably planted. But anyway, sir, go on.
Well, we know why and why they're not going there, right? He's meant to take his beat. So anyway, yeah, no, this.
Sorry.
I think this is going to be the weirdest fucking sentencing ever. I think it was a good idea for you to suggest we go online when the sentencing happens, because that would be interesting to watch that and kind of do it as live while it's happening, because that's going to be bizarre. It's probably going to be as bizarre as the plea was. And the fact that he signed this agreement agreeing that he would never be able to appeal or through appeal courts or none of that. And he's thrown away everything and said, yeah, no problem. Because Brian Kohlberger won't exist after this trial. Okay? He will be John Smith or John Doe or whoever he'll be. But he won't be, Brian Kohlberger will be gone and forgotten. You won't find him in the prison system. You can't go visit him or write him letters. I can tell you right now, this is a setup. I smell it. I can't sit here and say I know everything, but going by what I've seen, all the evidence they have is bullshit. And yet they've got this guy lock-cocked and rebocked into a plea deal of 4 murder beats plus the burglary, which he's already been basically an automatic sentence for. So
a home invasion burglary, exactly.
Yeah, basically that's what they're implying, right? And the judge, I did go through the video, and the judge did say all 4 were people. He didn't just say
yes,
2.
I knew that.
2.
No, well, I figured that he said all 4 when I recall. Yeah.
But that person that wrote into you said that they only said it for about 2 people. I said, well, that doesn't sound right.
I didn't believe that. Excuse me, my recollection, I never said it on our live, was that it was 4-2 from the judge. No,
they wrote you a letter in a comment.
I know.
And they put in there. I know. I thought I wouldn't have missed that, so I checked and I didn't miss it. He said all 4 were missing. So I don't know. It's just the evidence is not matching what they're especially what they're going through with Kohlberger. What if this was legitimate? Either the judge or the Crown would reject the guilty plea, cancel the deal, and bring it to trial.
Yep. Totally agree.
This was a real case, but they can't go to trial. because people are going to
No.
find out this is a bullshit setup. They could not
That's
fake
right.
a trial.
No.
So what they're doing is they're doing what we say they're doing, I believe, and they're feeding everyone bullshit so they can shut this down. And basically, the only way it'll ever get solved is if one of those victims or Brian Kohlberger come out and write a book about everything. And
Or you and I do a documentary, and I hope we will one day, and we will show all the discrepancies as we've talked about in our lives and ongoing lives. We might even show, hopefully we will be doing live on the sentencing, and Ellie and I will be reacting to the theater, the PSYOP, and we'll talk about the PSYOP in our documentary, and then we'll have the CIA or potentially FBI, maybe DOJ. They might have a team surveilling us and after us, but Ellie and I we'll go under a WITSEC program, or we'll go to Puerto Rico, whatever, and we'll try to appease some certain groups within these 3-letter agencies. Just say, hey, we thought it was harmless. We're doing a documentary. We're telling the truth. Leave us alone. Let us live our lives. You know. Am I getting carried away? Probably. Sorry, guys.
You'd be meeting that dead DoorDash driver over that fucking bridge. That's what would happen to you.
Oh, no. Did you hear that, folks? Oh, shit.
I don't think Americans really want to sit there and listen to two Canadians talk about a case from their country. I think it should be Americans, probably local, people who are local, not just people going there and like this web character, but I mean actually live in the area and actually reside and know people, maybe know the victims, maybe know the perps, maybe both.
Yes.
Maybe, know the town and what really goes on there. Because people who just go there to do reporting, they don't know shit.
That's
people
right.
who live there, they see shit, they ignore shit, but they know shit. So that's who should be doing it, not two Canadians from a different country who don't even have access to anything except online. And we'll look what
you've changed my mind
so far. They people think this is all fucking legit.
That's right.
Like that's what online has got. They I wonder if, and you keep talking about these paid shows, these they're not all professional, but some of them are paid. I guess like Steve G, but other what do you call them, influencers, right? Who are
and disinformation, misinformation agents, influencers. Yes,
going in a certain direction. They won't let anyone. And if you go in a different direction, they'll mock you, they'll make fun of you, attack you, like someone did to you.
That's right.
And they'll write you off and say, no, this is correct. So to me,
that's right.
Those people are the ones who are guilty of keeping this fucking bullshit going. All we want is truth and transparency. We don't care about the politics of it. We don't care about whatever. We don't care about none of that shit. We care about truth and transparency, and the fact that this has been perpetrated upon the people is a lie. It's a fraud. Exactly. And you pay
taxpayers.
Your taxpayers are paying for this fraud to happen.
Exactly. See. Thank you, Ellie, for that. Exactly.
Other agencies are in control of this whole situation. All of it.
Sure.
All the murders in Chatelaine, and in Idaho, in Moscow. But I feel that
I didn't say that. These are Ellie's thoughts, folks. These are Ellie's thoughts. I didn't say that. Just to let you know. But get it, you.
No, that's me, and I still feel in my heart that there's a connection between that fireman and the cop who were slaughtered, because apparently they were not shot with the kind of gun that kid had with him, which was a shotgun. So the sheriff's supposed to have come out yesterday or today to do a conference about it and announce that it wasn't the kid.
Oh,
so
interesting. Wow.
Well, it can't be the kid. He didn't have the gun on him. They were shot with bullets from professional NATO rifles, not your average shotgun.
But Ellie, is that not just from George Webb's reporting then, or is it just from George Webb really that reported that?
He verified it.
Okay, thank you.
So no, I don't count on any one source for anything. And like I said, what I read off earlier, none of it's verified, but it's just a coincidence of the dates of everything, from the subpoenas, the IDAHO4, to the return of the subpoenas signed, meaning agreed, and then all of a sudden the murders start happening. And this priest, and the DoorDash driver over the bridge, it just all this shit. It's so fucking brutal.
It's almost like the Kennedy assassination.
Very much, very much, and very much mysterious surrounding it. Because we're being told it's obviously Aryans. No, we don't know that. The only reason people would think that is because they're believing what they're told. Look at the facts. Don't just believe what you're told. Look at the facts. And like I said, George Webb does a lot of half stories. I can't really count on him for anything. But yeah, some of the stuff I do get from him as well. And it's verified. And yeah, so the DoorDash driver is not verified yet. It's being looked into if he is the one that went to the IDAHO4 house that night, because he was subpoenaed to court. There was other people. I don't know if the fireman was subpoenaed to court, but that one fireman sure looked a lot like that kid, the Kohberger kid. So I don't know. That was just freaky. And then Jeff says, "Oh, they're connected. The crimes are connected." I'm like, "Holy fuck!" I wonder if it's because maybe this guy's related to Kohberger, a cousin or something. They look pretty fucking close. Anyway, it's just a coincidence, probably. But so it got me thinking. Well, you know, maybe they are connected. We'll see what happens. But nothing was ever decided about that, so I can't say they're connected. But what connects it for me is the level of corruption behind each case is identical.
Yeah.
The fake evidence, the fake storyline, and then it falls apart, just like fucking IDAHO4 did.
Yeah.
Because now, according to them, 6 people went in the fucking house. Or at least 4 people went in the house. Make up your fucking minds. How do we know 12 people didn't go in the house and go smoke dope and fucking... We don't know.
That's right.
There's no evidence, there's no proof, and there's no clear footage. So now people can only go by what's being told to them by people like the Panzerotti guy and the others who are following them.
By the way, I think, Ellie, yes, exactly. I think that if there were 4 more perps, I'm just trying to visualize in my head, without the 3D printed dollhouse that we make fun of, the prosecution defense made fun of themselves. This ridiculousness, they destroyed the actual crime scene, the house we know. If there were 4 more perps, I would just imagine if you have knives out, I don't want to sound too morbid, but you're trying to stab people, healthy adults, right? Some of them may have been asleep. Let's just say if it happened, some were awake for sure. You're going to be bumping into each other as perps. You're going to stab one another. You know, you got victims fighting. You're really going to have 4 more perps in the small house and the small layout, you know, it's nonsense.
That's a reach.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying,
totally.
The fact that they said Kohberger went in there and did that himself without leaving any epithelials means that 4 guys are 4 times less likely to get in and out of there without leaving their fucking DNA everywhere.
Exactly.
And then they did. Apparently they did, and it's not even being looked at. Because they're still going ahead with this whole fucking theory that Kohberger did it. Well, obviously, if the president just fucking put that shit out, they haven't updated him on what's going on. So they're just going to let this kid go through a guilty plea knowing that there's 4 other perps? Get fucked. No, this is all fucking fraud. Yeah. It's a fraud. You're being lied to.
And I'm glad, Ellie, that you are bringing this up so much with me on all this because, again, we are showing people that are interested around the world, and particularly the United States and in our country at times Canada, I think what really is happening and what went down potentially that night. And it's not what you're being told, folks. It's all a lie. Largely, it's a psyop. There's reasons behind it, protecting government interests. The story, exactly. Has it to do with a confidential informant? We don't know all the intricacies behind the scenes, but we almost don't have to. We know that this story, as Ellie said, is a fraud, folks. So you don't have to buy into mainstream media anymore. And I just wish more YouTube creators, I'm not going to attack anybody, I wish they would stop playing it safe. Just tell it like it is. Again, staged crime scene. They didn't treat it like a health hazard to begin with. The course 911 call. Many creators are not telling you. Well, they should be mentioning blood if there was blood everywhere on the 911 call of the one victim. Remember, Ellie? I'm not talking about the other three. It was Dana that was splayed out on the floor, and the story was they literally said that she was passed out on the phone call, and they thought she was passed out. You would be mentioning blood everywhere if it happened, not to mention the smell. That's just a fact of human behavior, folks. And not to mention there was more than one person on that 911 call. It never happened. Why? Because there was no crime scene, folks. And then just go into the law. What they can do, 18, we get into it. Now, I'll get into it in future videos. I want to hammer that home. But anyway.
Anyway, I want to say hi to Faye because she's been here for a while. She was here when we...
Oh, all right.
And yes, DoorDash does deliver pot.
Faye.
That's what they were delivering that night, besides sandwiches.
There was a lot of pot.
Yeah, there's a lot of pot.
They deliver a lot of pot, apparently, there.
Ubers and DoorDash, yeah. So they got to make money, and sometimes tips are slow. So, I mean... Money's better on the drugs. So anyway, a lot of the evidence isn't jiving with the story they're pulling. And this is why I say it's a story. And programmers are helping keep that storyline going. Programmers are like these sensationalized whores like Banfield and Nancy Grace, right?
What about Steve G, the father, though? Is he part of that story, Ellie?
I think he's back and forth. I think he's got his own motives. But I don't think that those are the same motives that he's actually got people believing they are. I think they're totally different. But he's got motives, that guy. And he's pissed off. He just lost a lot of money in this hex fucking thing, crypto thing. So he's a little pissy. But yeah, no, he's worried about Steve G. He's not worried about Kohberger going down for the wrong, like... All this is fucked up. No. And that's why I think the families are also being lied to. And they don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, like the three-letter agencies, mainly the FBI. Okay? So, yeah, no, I don't know. I just get the feeling they're being left in the dark about a lot of things. And maybe they don't even know their kids are in WICSEC. Maybe that's being kept from them.
Yeah, I think they
might give it away, right? Like Steve
I think 99% chance, in my view, Ellie, that they would know. You're right. Sometimes they're not read in often, but I think in this case, the parents, based on the interviews, the reactions, this weird grieving process, in my opinion, that I see and a lot of people have talked about, and what they've said, not being angry. The Chapmans, the beautiful parents. I think they know what's going on, but like you said, they also don't know the big, deep rabbit hole of what things behind the scenes. But they would know, I think, in this case, that the students absolutely are in a WITSEC program. That's just my opinion.
They probably do.
And thank you, Ellie. And rumor has it, we can't prove it, but when Steve G went to, it was Puerto Rico, I believe. It wasn't Costa Rica. I want to confirm. I'll double check that.
Actually,
but I believe it was
I think it was
Costa Rica. Thank you. Okay. There was rumors that apparently, and a big YouTube creator, I think, talked about it, that there was a girl that was about the same size as Kaylee, red hair. Obviously, they would dye her hair if she's most likely protected under WITSEC, some sort of, changing in the appearance. And she was with her boyfriend, her ex, Adam, right? And it would all make sense, folks. Doesn't mean it happened, but if this extraction operation happened, that may be the one opportunity for many years that this family would have a chance to see Kaylee, without the public scrutiny overall. But there was that rumor that was taking place. So who knows? But I find it fascinating, and they're probably never going to see Kaylee for a long time, even if she is alive, which I think she is. And that's the good news, folks. So all four, I think are protected under that program, which is designed for everything that Ellie and I are talking about largely, I think, for large part.
What I'm thinking is this. If I was one of the parents of these victims, I would not still be in the same fucking house. I'd be gone.
Well, Steve G moved. Apparently, I would agree with you. Steve G apparently did move. That's the new comment I got. We can double check that, Ellie. Oh, you're right. The other parents did. Great question. I don't know the answer to that either.
Did they split up? He just moved out? Like that's what you got to know.
No, him and Christy are tight. They're like this still. I haven't
and
heard anything different.
Brutal. Why isn't she moving? Like, she's a known rat.
Great question. Exactly.
So, no, none of this
is
making sense at all. So this seems to me like a fixed deal, a really bad fucking play, and
bad play.
That's what it is. The play was really cheesy acting, like little children, and
I agree.
No, none of this coagulates with me at all. None of this resonates. Doesn't match. And the fact that the new evidence came out, that they even admitted is new evidence because they released it, and yet they're still letting this kid go down without any, wait, we got to get these other 4 people through with them or whatever and go through trial.
That's right. No, it'd be too complicated.
All together. I don't know. It seems
it'd be
weird.
Too complicated.
It
would be too complicating of a story to even fabricate.
But it would be leaked.
That's right, leaked. Exactly.
No, I said
again.
Right?
It would be
illegal. It wouldn't be
legal.
Yeah, it would be done properly. They would stop. This plea, and then make the other ones go through the pretrial with him. Have all the evidence out, so maybe 1 or 2 of them are more guilty than him. He's still going to get life in prison anyway. It's not going to matter if this went down the way they're saying. Either way, he'd get life in prison. But the point is, he would be tried with them. And now they have these DNAs and the proof and the handprint on the banister. Where the fuck are these men?
Well,
why haven't they been arrested? They've been charged. Why aren't they even being mentioned?
If they are mentioned ever, Ellie, if this story dramatically turns somehow and we get what you're talking about that we're asking for, and people have asked for, who are the other perps, if there were other perps, my argument would be we would see it'll be laughable. I think it would be, or I shouldn't say laughable, but it would be actors. They have endless amounts of actors, as we know, whether it be an Elon Musk, right? The Tucker Fucker Carlsons, in my opinion, right? Complete CIA assets. The not so obvious establishment, as Dr. Shiva calls it, my friends. He thinks he literally describes it's like a factory of actors, that they train, they have, and they put out. So in this case, was Brian Kohlberger, in my view, was he one of them? It was this pre-planned. Did he sign up for part of this as almost like an actor in a play, as Ellie's described many times, this theater play we're seeing, shoddy work at that, but it's a play nevertheless. Is Brian Kohlberger, did he agree to all this? And my thinking is yes. And if you disagree with that, folks, then how do you explain what Ellie described? And other people are starting to talk about it. Why was he so eager to say yes? Why was he so content? No stress, a tan, haircut. Folks, it's all part of the theater. He's in on it, in my opinion. The side, He's the perfect Patsy. Perfect.
And the whole him getting stabbed in prison. Well, if he didn't name anybody, he wouldn't have a problem in prison.
No.
So I don't know what everyone's dwelling on that shit about, right? He's not in prison. He's not in the prison system. He can't be found. And they, like I say, they wouldn't hide him because he's in prison. You can't get at him. So look, people are just not looking at the logistics versus the shoddy evidence that's been presented, which could have been planted easy enough. And people are dying. Like anyone who could verify anything is being killed, shot, thrown off bridges.
That's tragic.
It is tragic, but these people are dying over a fraud. There's something that's not even real. It's like Hollywood making a movie and then running around killing a whole bunch of people because they found out something about the movie or something. You know what I mean? Yeah, that would be tragic too, but it happens. That kind of shit happens. People get killed and just they never find out why or what or whatever because 4 can keep the secret if 3 are dead, right? That's how they work. So look, none of this suits up, and I want to go stream by stream, and I start attacking parts of the evidence that we can pre-plan prior to, so I get all my problems with it, and we're just going to attack all the evidence, because this basically people are believing a very serious situation on bullshit.
Yes. They're starting out with that hard, fast belief again in something. And when you do, as I said earlier, psychologists will tell you, it's very difficult to turn away from that, as Ellie's alluding to. And then as I gave an example, and you won't be able to enable somebody to make a change, right, necessarily, if somebody starts hard and fast in believing in something. So know that, folks, and look no further than politics. As I said, rabid Trump supporters, they're all in. They've started with that hard, fast belief, many of them. And so another way of saying it, it's not easy to, in this case, say politics, for them to get away from the lie, to stop the lie. I think was, I'm not sure if I'm reusing the right words. Yeah, to get away from the lie or stop the lie. And then when we give you information, for example, on the IDAHO4, if you started hard and fast in believing in whether it be the FBI, CIA narrative, right? Some of the shills out there in social media that I believe are clearly disinformation, misinformation agents or grifters, then the information we give to you tends to actually support, unfortunately, your belief in some of these narratives, and or confirm it, rather than stopping your believing in that and or swaying you away in the opposite direction. And that's why now, since I understand that psychology, Ellie, better, I understand why I get so much vicious bashing, from people when I've called out some of these people, even though I don't do it perfectly and I get a little bit carried away at times. But they just bash me every which way and still believe in these people when I'm showing you, wait, here's some facts. Ask the hard questions. Here's what they're not talking to you about that they should, right? With this case, so.
Yeah, but when you're attacking their evidence, you're attacking them in their eyes, right? So they get nasty.
And you're attacking their person.
Yeah, that's always going to be that way with them. So you can't win. But look, it's here nor there. The evidence just doesn't suit what they're asking, what they're expecting this Kohberger kid to go down for. And he knows it, and he's still doing it. So the fact that that alone should have you wondering, why would he plead guilty instead of going to trial, getting one juror to believe in his story or feel sorry for him.
Exactly. Well said.
It only takes one out of 12 people. So,
exactly. And Ann Taylor's good at her job. Ann Taylor. I got to keep repeating. Ann Taylor. She showed she's really good. She's shrewd, right? She's a defense attorney. She often did a lot of great things in front of the judge, the way she communicated, and her defense, counsel, Ellie, right? Even though she didn't do a perfect job, no defense attorney does. You don't think she could, with Brian Kohberger, the lack of, pardon?
She didn't do a very good job on Kohberger. It was a sealed deal. She just had to play the part. She could have fought that way harder.
Well, I agree. She did have to play. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, even with her, the acting that she did do, and the legal, the laws that she brought out, with Kohberger. Pardon?
The dog and pony show. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, yes. What I'm saying is, I think we can all tell that, to your point earlier, Ellie, that with Brian Kohberger, the lack of evidence, she could have easily got one juror at least to have more than reasonable doubt in this case, and that's the bottom line, right? That's why it's a dog and pony show.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if it was a 6-6 jury, because there's just so much. That's why they won't go to trial, because they know he'll probably walk, and then the whole thing fucks up. This is meant to be. This is meant to happen.
Exactly.
We're not meant to question it, and we're just meant to believe it all like a bunch of good simps. And
that's right.
I'm not willing to. So if people want to thrash me and you for believing what we believe, well, I'm sorry you don't think for yourself. I'm sorry you let creators who are here to sway you, hook you, line and sinker. I'm sorry you don't have a sufficient brain oxygen supply to see that what you're believing in is fairy tale bullshit.
Yes.
You can't see what's corrupt
And I
with
got
all evidence, then you're just not looking because you don't want to look, because it's easier for you to buy the bullshit and tag along with these creators who are feeding you more bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
one of them, Ellie, I will name one person. I would love to have us interview him, but of course he would never, I predict he would never do it. And I'm not going to bash him other than to say I like the guy overall, Ellie. And I think he would be another example of a creator, a person that you could have a beer with and have nice conversation with. Probably. And he's intelligent. Just simply say, in my opinion, Joshua, a Courtroom Confidential. I've heard enough of him on this case to realize, and we know he comes from the system. He's a defense attorney or prosecutor. I forget which. Sorry, Joshua, I forget which. But he's all in as what you just described, Ellie. He's not really questioning hardly at all any of the narrative, not the staging, not, well, wait, why would he even plead guilty? There's so much lack of evidence. He just goes along with seemingly the CIA, FBI planted narrative. Just fall for it. Brian, he's pleading guilty. He must have done it. He's a one-off Ted Bundy. You got Anjanette Levy. I really like her overall again, folks. But are they telling you the truth of the IDAHO4? Or do they know a lot more than what they're really saying? I think the answer is yes.
I think so.
And I think it may have to do with this. You can MONEY, my friends. Just speculation on that. But we got to be very careful. That's all I'm saying, my friends. If you want to listen to them, great. But don't start hard and fast in believing in something. Because, again, it's difficult. I've been guilty of it, too. I'm sure Ellie probably has at times. Certainly I have. It's difficult to have somebody help you again and able to change and help you stop believing in that or swaying you away in the opposite direction. It's just very difficult. That's all, but Ellie and I are still making a difference, I think, in people out there. I see it. We're helping them break out of the brainwash. I've been broken out of my brainwash listening to a certain creator. I've named him before, and others. So more and more people are realizing, to Ellie's point, none of this makes sense. It's very deep what's going on. It has to do with probably drugs, drug organizations, obviously three-letter agencies involved in all this, and on we go. And it's all theater put out to us, a psyop, folks. It's not really the truth. That's, and it's wasted taxpayers' money a lot. So it's up to us to figure this out, folks. You're a waste of taxpayers' money, especially in the United States, if you buy into that nonsense, and give money to Steve G. In my opinion, please don't do that. But it, that's just my opinion. Sorry, go ahead, Al.
It's a storyline. You just got to follow along with it and be a good simp. But we can't do that because we see what's wrong with everything. And we're going to point out what's wrong with everything. And if you still refuse to see it, then it exactly proves why they do what they do on social media. Because they'll get simpletons like you guys to, and I'm not labeling any person. I'm just saying people who watch YouTube will believe a narrative that quick if the right creator is telling them.
That's right.
And they've got not only professionals who are now acting like they're disgruntled employees and they're now YouTubing or live streaming, but you've got other influencers who have built their way up. Clowns like this web guy and all these other people. And so from all of them have led you astray. And now you don't want to go the other way, but we're going to show you the evidence that's corrupted, what's corrupt about it, and let you decide for yourself. And like I said, if you don't see it, it's because you don't want to see it. Exactly. You're too invested in the bullshit and you can't let go.
Exactly. Couldn't say it better myself.
Yeah, no,
Ellie's on point.
That's the way it is.
Ellie, you never thought this when you first dived into the IDAHO4 and you knew I was covering this case. Did you have any idea that it would be as always described, crazy, wild, and yet not tragic like we've been told? Did you really think that it would be as crazy and wild as it is? And so much discrepancies would come to the forefront, the lies, etc.?
I didn't see all the twists and turns coming.
I did too at times, but
once they came in, I thought, okay, well that's not much, right? Like to go on.
Right.
Now, what we have now, when you look at all the creators and all the evidence that's been dissected and shit, we've torn apart their bullshit, and they're still going ahead. So it just goes to show you, it's a psyop. They cannot stop it now. They have to go through. Kohberger has to be the guy.
Yeah. There'll still be a lot of videos and hopefully sleuths like nobody will be quite like us, Ellie, but there'll be hopefully other sleuths with our information and people that maybe not the actual creators, but are on YouTube. They have their own channel, maybe 1 or 2 subscribers. They don't want to necessarily be out there, and that's fine. But hopefully more and more people will always question, and start to question more like what we're talking about. Wait, this doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. This is a psyop, folks. This is theater largely what you've seen right from day one with that crime scene. And Brian Kohberger, they needed him to be the fall guy, and the truth will be told, therefore, more and more. And that's what we hope. That's all we could do. Hopefully bring more truth and truth. And along the way, maybe we'll get more answers, right? More things will come out. Hopefully not more victims, people dying in this case. That might happen too, that are connected. Who knows? But it's a fascinating case, folks. It's fascinating what went down.
It's very intricate. The whole story, not their storyline, but the whole actual unfolding story is so intricate. I can see why they pulled it off, even though it was done shabbily, because there's just so much data involved in this case that your average people wouldn't even know how to access, right? I think data will solve a lot of, for us, it's going to be the only way to solve anything, because the law will never tell you.
I look forward to the data.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for this.
No problem.
Really appreciate it. Wow, we've talked an hour and a half almost on scintillating, titillating, tantalizing details on the IDAHO4 again. An hour and 10. Yes.
Oh, hour
I like
10.
That reaction.
That's still good. Because with the added in video, it'll be about an hour and a half anyway. So,
thanks for the amazing editing. Sorry, go ahead, Adam.
You're welcome. Just remember me on payday. I think we can end this now. I can just, with what I add to it should still be about an hour and a half. It's good to get this out, and people need to understand that there's constantly ever evolving new, I won't even say evidence, but new hot light shined on the darkness of this case.
Well said.
The more the light shines, the more we're seeing. So we'll be the first ones to sit there and tell you what we see. You can look in for yourself and see what you see. And that's all we can ask for what you do, right? We don't want you to just blindly believe us, although it would be nice. But no, I'm just saying, you do your own investigation, do your own research. Don't let influencers influence you. That's what they're paid to do. Look at things with a critical eye. Question everything.
That's right. You could question us, folks. That's why we also, in part, we want to talk about guests. We like to socialize with other people, especially when it comes to the IDAHO4. We want to question each other and see, what the audience thinks of our interview with a guest or more than one. And let's bounce our ideas off one another. Maybe we can discover new facts that we didn't even think about. And so Ellie and I, again, we put that invitation to anybody out there with genuine intentions that want to discuss the IDAHO4. And you don't have to agree with us. You don't have to agree for some reason. If for some reason you don't think this was a stage removal extraction operation, if you don't think those students are protected under the WITSEC program, that there were government interests there in that house, and that the feds knew they had to rescue them, if you don't think that, that's okay. Show us, tell us, and we'll discuss it. And I'm not going to hammer home, extraction operation, you're wrong. No, I won't act like that. Not at all. We want to hear your evidence. We want to discuss all the evidence that has been presented, right, Ellie? And invite you to talk about. We almost had devil's advocates. He was this close to coming on. He showed interest. I could show you the emails, folks. I could show you the text. Where is he? Devil's Advocates, you're doing interviews with others. You got the charismatic, lovely ELLE, Sophia Rossetti at ELLE's Place. You got me at ESTEY'S Crime Maze. This goes on your YouTube, Devil's Advocates. We're pumping up your channel even without you on the show, and we'll pump you up even more promoting you. And we can have fun. So follow through, Devil's Advocates, would you? That's all. I want to have you on our show, man. That's just one example, folks, of a guest that we could potentially have on. And anybody else who wants to discuss the IDAHO4, I'm really anxious to make this happen. But, will anybody follow through? We'll see. We'll see. And if they don't, that's okay, too. Ellie and I are going to keep going regardless of bringing truth and transparency as much as we can.
Yeah.
If we make mistakes and we're proven mistaken, we'll admit it. What's that?
Yeah, we'll find out where it all leads. The roads all lead somewhere. We'll find out. We're going to go down the roads. So
yes,
we're all going to go down together, and we'll find out at the end who was right and who was wrong, right?
Exactly.
Or we won't, and we'll all be left fucking... But I don't think so. I think they're getting very close to solving a lot of things right now. And if certain things get solved, that I think it's going to prove you and I right. So I think that goes our way.
We're going to shine a light. We are shining a light to the darkness, and we continue to shine that light, folks, by the grace of God. So thank you so much for listening, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. We'll let Ellie say the way she wants to say goodbye to the audience, and I hope she enjoys the rest of this beautiful day, of course, and evening. Go ahead, Ellie.
Well, I just wanted to say that you can catch me on Truth Inc. on Rumble. Yeah, thanks for having me on your show. And like I said, it's important to bring out the irregularities and the discrepancies because people just automatically don't look for them. You and I automatically think with a critical eye, but I'd like to see more people join us in doing that. No matter what they come up with in their own mind, but at least don't be led around by the nose. It gets you nowhere. You'll go where other people want you to go, and then you're sheep. You're not people anymore. You're sheeple. So, with that being said, thank you for having me on, Jason, and we'll look forward to it.
My pleasure. Me too. I can't wait moving forward with this journey. Have an awesome day.
Yeah, you too. Bye, everybody.